Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. Yeah, here we have a fantastic system. One of those few systems that I would really like to have. And I once came close to owning a Verity Sarastro speaker. And it's just one of the best speakers in the world. I think it's got MIT or transparent cables at the back. So it's going to take the sound into a direction that is very technical, analytical, separated. It's all about clarity, layering, and stuff like that, making a very wide sound stage. And we've got one of the best effect amplifiers in the world here. This is tube sound, Nagra tube, VPA. I think it was probably invented around year 2000, 2005, something like that. Some of the best tube gear ever that isn't audio note. Really good. It's got that tubey sound together with that very analytical, spacious Swiss Nagra sound. This is the old Nagra sound. It's very, very, very good and very different from the new Nagra sound. The new Nagra sound is more meaty and human-like. I can't see if this is a PLP preamp, but Nagra PLP preamp is one of the best preamps in the world. Still not nearly as doesn't come anywhere near the mid to top audio notes preamps. They simply make the best preamps, full stop. But it would have been good to have a Nagra CD player with it instead of this that looks like either an exposure, no, Prima or exposure unit, or maybe it's even an Oppo CD player. That could be it. So yeah, this is like a huge negative of the system. This could drag the whole system down together with the cable. And also the fact that if you look at the back of this speaker, you would have a connector connecting this part with that bass unit at the back. If you get rid of that and run a really good high quality single wire cable down here and a separate one to up there, it would just open up the middle range, so it becomes a lot more natural. And the treble on this speaker is just to die for. Really, really good. And I think it measures to something like 100,000 kilohertz or something like that. I can't remember. Really good. And the speaker goes all the way down to 20 hertz. So you kind of want that, that's a sign of a really good speaker. And also the spacing that this guy has created between the speaker and the wall, I'm impressed. That's cool. And look, he's got a carpet down here, a piece of like okay looking furniture that I don't know what that will do to the sound exactly, but all of this area here with the bass trap or whatever you call them, very well done. And people think that you may be nuts for having all of these supporters, wooden supporters, but trust me, when you have a very technical cable as such, MIT a transparent cable. MIT is usually more of an analytical cable, where transparent is more. It's a bit warmer generally in sound. You kind of want this thing to give it a slightly more organic sound and an easy, stressless sound. So yeah, they do work, but I'm not saying that people should use like $2,000 on that. You can make your own for like 1/50th of that price, because it does actually make a difference. Because when it isn't pulling on the terminal, but when it's just resting against it, that does do a surprising amount of good for the system. But you need a crazy really high quality system in order to hear that relatively small difference that it makes. But it's like one of those last things you can do when you've ran out of small things you can play with. But you could, in theory, have some wooden boxes here and here to isolate the inner side of the speaker, so the middle range and the treble don't have to work as much. Would it be as nice to look at? Probably not. I'm guessing that this room is probably like 5 or 6 meters deep, so that would also be pretty good. And the ceiling up here seems to be pretty good. So yeah, let's have a small listen. Japanese music. Yeah, drop gorgeous system. What I would do, you could do this. You could also take the system into another direction. Personally, what I would have done, I would have put an ISIL 8 mini sub axis on it, power box, to create that more warm and organic sound. I would have improved tubes that are a lot bigger and higher, and probably cost as much as most people would use on their hi-fi system. That makes a huge difference from turning the sound to being very analytical and a bit shut in, to just being very voluptuous, inviting, with a lot more charisma. And what would I do? I mean, you could of course put Cardas on it. Would be a bit of a waste. What could you then do? I mean, mid to top class AudioQuest cables could actually sound pretty good. I would actually prefer that, like a pretty high AudioQuest cable here, single wire here, and then also have that on the signal side. That would actually do quite a bit of good. We also have that cable that they put into Martin Design speakers. I can't remember what it's called. Karma cable? Oh, I kind of lost that. But those cables that they put into Martin Design speakers, that would actually sound pretty good here. And what would I then do? It is pretty satisfying and perfect. I mean, I would definitely go for that double single wire cable, so I don't have to listen to that connector at the back, because that connector locks it into a hi-fi mode, so people don't really realize that this speaker has a lot more pressure and punch and naturality, where when you start doing these tweaks, you go away from this like hi-fi show, vulgar, cool, informative thing, over to something that's just sounds a lot more like an Audio Note top speaker. And this is an extremely fast top and middle end speaker. And these are apparently double layered, custom fitted, double layered speaker units. So these aren't the normal, what do you call it, units that you can buy from Audio Technology, I think they're called. So that's what I want to do. And I would really focus on having a really, 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 really good source unit on speakers like this, because there's so much hidden information and so much flexibility on staying on this path, or maybe an even more analytical path. You know, I could also go nuts and say, fine, AudioQuest all over the place, and then put an AudioQuest Nagra 5000 or 7000 power box on. That would create this big, huge soundstage with a lot of bass pressure, and it would be pretty good. You know, I would even be able to settle with that. that would be very, very cool to listen to. And of course, you could also just, like I said before, put a Nagra CD in there. But what I wouldn't do, what is absolutely no go, I wouldn't start mixing something like a good Macintosh CD and put it in here. Macintosh CD belongs on a Macintosh piece of equipment, for it to sound close to good. If you start getting good offers on, I don't know, Sugden CD player, Macintosh CD player, AudioFlight CD player, forget it. It's just going to annoy you. You can possibly make that work with then compensating with card S cables and stuff like that, and then getting maybe an isolate mini sub access box to kind of fuse the sound, make it more earthy. You could do that, but no, I wouldn't do that. What I actually would do, very interesting. I would try and see if I can get my friend's streamer that he's made. That would sound awesome on this system. Having his streamer here, it would just create so much more of a reduction of noise. It would make the sound so much more natural that you would not be able to recognize the speaker again. Yeah, I'd probably do that. That would be very cool. And to top off, I would... What would I do? Yeah, without a doubt, I would create my own audio note cables or audio quest cables, and put them together with some Oyade plugs. Oyade fit the Verity sound very well. You could, of course, go in the Furtek direction with the plugs, but I just don't like the whole hi-fi priority of Furtek plugs. It seems a bit too vulgar and hi-fi-ish. And you get this depth, this kind of fake depth, fake warmth that grabs the sound and forgives a lot of errors, and suddenly you can play a lot more music because it's got this like slightly warm sound, but it's a lower level of hi-fi that I don't want to go down to. No, I'd probably to keep it very pure and high performance, I would probably use Oyade 037 plugs, or even Wattgate's silver plugs. They also have a huge amount of potential. And just repeat those power plugs all over the place. And yeah, I'd probably use some Oyade SRBN banana plugs. Those are some of the best banana plugs in the game. And they would sound awesome on a speaker like this, or a Peak Consult speaker, or a Martin Design speaker. That would really complement this. Let's just say that I kept the whole system, and I just changed the speaker cable. I could change it to something that only cost like a 20th of the price, maybe even a 50th of the price. Summer Cable SC Quadra Blue. I could put Oyade SRBN rhodium plugs on that sucker, and I would probably keep the cable, make it a bit longer than normal, because you kind of want to smooth out the sound. Probably make them 4 meters long. What is that? What is that, like $500, including the Oyade? More like $600, including the Oyade SRBN banana plugs. Yeah, run that sucker from this to that speaker and this to that, and then yeah, you could kind of keep the whole connector thing at the top if you want to, but that would create a really good quality sound, and I would actually improve the sound, and then be able to sell this cable at the back for many thousands of dollars. This cable here on the back, that looks like an MIT or transparent cable that will cost $15,000, and I just improved the sound, by going down to a really good 500, yeah, five or 600 US dollars cable, just by doing that alone. Look, that's almost $15,000 you can get in your hand, you know, and then you could save that up for a car for the next Tesla 3 that's going to cost 25,000 US dollars. You could do that, but you could also kind of get rid of this thing and probably get a couple of $1,000 for that, and then put that together with what you got from the cable, and then suddenly it's like boom, used audio note CD3. There you go. That pays for itself right here, and the sound just gets a lot better, a lot better. That's how you do things in hi-fi. That's how you have fun and save money. This is a chameleon system that where you can work with the speaker. So many people don't get to hear what I've heard, what this speaker can do. This speaker can go in at least 10 different, very different sound directions, and they will all be at a very, very, very high level. I mean, yeah, of course, you could get an audio note system for like a third of the money that probably overall is better in almost every single sound department. You could do that. You could do that. But if you really like that transistor experience, or want to listen to top Nagra tube, you have a speaker that has the ability to adapt to a lot of different circumstances. So an amazing speaker, and just around this 93 dB efficiency that you have with this speaker, you just get that certain amount of reaction where you could possibly test 8 or 10 watt triode tube amplifiers on it. It wouldn't be very powerful. It would lack a bit of punch and pressure and control, but I mean, you would get sound out of it, and it would still sound pretty darn good. I heard one of my friends' 300B audio note kits on a speaker like this, and as long as you have a relatively small room to keep the pressure in the sound stage, it actually sounds pretty darn good. The only thing that was missing was just a proper power conditioner. What my friend did was kind of annoying. He had a 20 meter, I'm repeating, 20 meter power cable feeding his power box, and it was Oye's Tsunami cable with these, you know, these really like some of the best power plugs in the world, F1 M1 from Oye, and it was just a waste of money because the cable is just it's not very good when it's long, and those plugs just bring out all the worst hi-fi experience that you can get from this speaker, because it's incredibly impressive, but it just can't play music. So if you just sell that cable, sell the cable, get the money, get a better sound, get a cheaper cable, you can get a, I don't know, audio note ISIS cable that costs $100 instead of having an Oye Tsunami cable that costs like, what does it cost, like $500 per 2 meter? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I just, again, I created a solution where I earn money on getting a better sound. Isn't that crazy? Okay, another thing I have to tell you guys is that we've got this solid wooden floor and thing underneath the speaker. You have to know this, guys. If you put Artisania dampeners on especially a Verity speaker at the top here and here, I don't know how much that is. What is that, like $200 per dampener? Those are some of the most sophisticated dampeners in the world, and they will make this speaker sound so much more tuned in, and the reaction from the bass, down to the floor would be a lot more harmonious and clean, and it would somehow, I don't know how it does it, but it would make the bass integrate with the mid-range and the treble on such a high level that you just thought, wow, did the artist just tune in his instrument? Because it just sounds so much better, and the fine grain of the music just, somehow you're deeper into the soundstage and it's just more magical. And those are just dampeners. Those could pay for themselves just by getting rid of these cables, these long cables. And isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing what you can achieve by doing all of these small things? So a good lesson is that you want a relatively short, good quality power cable from the wall to your power supply, because that gives the equipment that you have the proper reaction, the proper coupling effect. Some people might even go nuts and say, okay, fine, I want the ultimate coupling effect. Give me a 50 centimeter long power cable. That's going to start a long range of potential bad stuff that could happen. I mean, you could do that if you've got everything under control and the plugs and the cables are perfect. I would not suggest starting off with that. Just start off with like a 2 meter or maybe a 1 meter, if you have to push your luck, with maybe a 1 meter good quality cable to that good quality power supply. And that could be gigawatts. Gigawatt works pretty good with this whole sound thing. Gigawatt is a bit too hi-fi for me. Very impressive, very big, very strong soundstage, really cool separation and stuff. But it kind of locks the sound for me personally. Audio Quest, a bit more organic. That would be more fitting. But I would personally take the Isolate Mini Sub Access Power Box because it's cheaper. You're getting a more compatible, natural, human-like integrated sound, and yeah, you're kind of missing out on perhaps 10% of some of the other stuff, but just go with that. It's again, it's cheap. It almost pays for itself. These are the things that you need to know to control a system like this. Let's just look at the price of everything here. We've probably got, I don't know, 50,000 euro new speakers here. These probably cost like 60,000 euro new. This thing, I don't know, 30,000 euro new. I think so. This thing, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it looks like something that could easily cost 50,000 euro new, everything included here. No idea what this is and this is, but here, yeah, this is like, this is not really good. This is probably only like 5,000 euro, around 5,000 euros. So, and the cable, I'm guessing it's like 20,000 euro new. You could get all of this used on the used market, because all this is pretty old now. You could go for like a 10-year-old model here and a 15-year-old model, and the rest also 15 years old. Let's just say that. Instead of paying, what was it, like, I don't know, 200,000 euro, suddenly you could pay 30,000 euro. You could get all of this for like 30,000 euro if you're pretty lucky. And then you can say, that's still a lot of money. Where? Fine, you only basically need the speaker. You could get that for around 10,000 euro. And I would suggest trying to get this Nagra stuff, this Nagra effects, monoblocks with the preamp. You could, in theory, if you were lucky on a good day, get this all together for like 10,000 euro used. then you have one of the best ever systems that you can move, and you can move it in the direction that you prefer. You could make a lot of stuff happen. So yeah, very interesting. Some interesting thoughts that you could use to manipulate sound in a good way. And also have to mention the fact that when you have a table like this and all this stuff like the bass traps or whatever it's called, reflection panels or whatever, it's good because it creates a natural lag. If you were to take all of this away, the table, this stuff at the back, these things here, you would create a more naked sound that arrives faster at your sound position. Also meaning that it would highlight the brightness and the attack, and it would make the sound too fast, too vulgar. So all of this stuff in the living room or wherever it is that he has his equipment, it creates a healthy lag. And wood has a very good characteristic of just creating a more earthy, settled, stylish, more tasteful way of presenting music. So that's also something to take into consideration. I could, if I was an interior designer here, I could in theory just remove everything and then just have like wooden, what do you call it, wooden panels here, wooden pieces of wood here going up like that. That would kind of break up the whole sound waves that are being sent back and forward, and it would kind of function as this and this table. What they do right here now, that would kind of function in the same way. It would probably give it a more of an earthy, settled, natural type of sound instead of this that is more in the hi-fi realm. But yeah, also another really, really good thing to think about. So yeah, that was all for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and tell me what you think about the system. Is this also something that you guys would like to own? I'd like to hear that down in the comments. Have a nice day.